Hello friends, it's your favorite neighborhood nerd, Simone, and I am here today to swatch some inks. And the reason why I want to swatch them is because I am considering using them in my next ink rotation. However, I'm not ready to unink my pens yet, but the other day I was like, okay, I have a list of things, and I pulled this one out. I just swatched this the other day, Fire Opal. It's like, yeah, this would be cool. And then I had the Wet Pen Rainier Blue, as well as Andoryllium Atlas Moth Brown. They look really lovely. And so I started kind of building a palette with inks that I like, that I want to use in sooner rather than later. I have plans on using Lamy Petrol with a dry pen because I want to see how it performs. And so I pulled out some inks that I want to use, some inks that I have specific ideas for. And I just, I pulled out colors that are so close that I'm like, okay, I enjoy swatching like these. There's a lot of, I don't know. And would that make a cool color palette? How many inks are those? So I have, let me tell you the colors that I have that I want to swatch. I have Sailor 50 States, Nevada, Andoryllium Atlas Moth Brown, Monteverde Fire Opal. These are more orange browns. Then I have a lot of blues and greens. I have the Wet Pen Rainier Blue, San Francisco Bay from Colorverse. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then 6 Lamy Petrol, Urbain Lierre Sauvage. I felt like I needed a green. And so I pulled this one out because I've been using all of those olivey greens, and I want to continue using an olive green. So I need to pull that out because it will be in that rotation. Diamond Safari. So I was like, maybe I can also get this in there somehow. So Lierre Sauvage is a very grassy green. And then the last one that I have is Grape Ice Pop from Ferris Wheel Press. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9? Not that many actually, because that's about the amount of inks or pens that I have usually inked. So that would actually play into the way that I usually do things. It felt like a lot, and I feel like it's not a fully complete rainbow, but does it always have to be a rainbow? I don't know. So I thought I really enjoyed swatching the samples from Pam. Let's just put together a color palette. Okay. Maybe I want to name it later. So when I was pulling all those inks out, I was like, why do I even do this? Is this like something that why? What's the reason? Is this something that is useful to me? And I'm always that person who asks, how am I going to benefit from this? What does it do me? And I feel like, does it have to do anything? Can I not just swatch these inks because I think they might look good together, and then that's the whole purpose of this? And it would also, so 2 things that I thought is, number 1, I could put them together on the paper because I like it. It would make a little bit of more use of the pens and inks or the inks that I have. Nobody says that I can only swatch an ink once, I can swatch it as many times as I want to. And it's like, it satisfies that need for me that, you know, of combining these colors and seeing what they look like together. So this is Sailor 50 States Nevada. I'm using this swink that my friend Wendy Sue made for me. I basically, for swatching, the only 3 tools that I really love using are this swink from Wendy Sue, this Kakimori brass dip nib. I was completely blanking on the name right now. And then one of those pipettes. That's all that I need for swatching. So this is Sailor. So I feel like I validated myself that playing with inks and playing with these palettes is totally okay. It gives me an idea, or it gives me an outlet to just, you know, play without a lot of sense. In like, I don't really have to think a lot about it. But also I don't have to write an essay or a paper. I don't have to journal, which I totally know I can. Or I don't need to journal, but sometimes I would love to journal or play with my pens and inks, but I just have the brain space for it. And so this seems like a cool idea. And who says that I can only make color palettes or combine specific inks with each other to see how they play off of each other? Then if I also put them into pens, you know what I mean? So I feel like that's a really cool thing. And if I enjoy doing this, there's going to be a lot more of these. Every time I'm itchy, every time I'm like, oh my God, I would wonder what this looks like with this. And I know that absolutely there's no need. You can ink your pens in with whatever colors you want. These inks don't have to play nicely with each other. That is just something that I do for me because I just love that aspect. Of this inky thing. It makes me happy to see how maybe an ink enhances another ink, or maybe even like if I had a lot of like some inks glow, or you can see the difference if you I don't know what these look like together, but these could be similar colors, but one is lighter and one is darker. And like, you know, then you actually notice how dark, how light one of these inks is. I'm not saying that is actually happening. I'm curious to see if they will even, especially if I put this ink in a drier pen, would they even be different? We don't know. And there's, especially when you have inks that are very similar and you don't put them in the exact same pen, then there's always the risk of that those inks looking almost exactly the same. I'm curious about, I just watched a video by Karina from Karina Loves to Plan. And why is there so much? It's probably because of this rag that I have over here. Where she went through all her inks that start with A, and Androlium Atlas Moth Brown was in there as well. and she, I think, decided to let go of that ink. But when I saw that, I was like, oh, I just used it to play with it, and I really like that swatch. Maybe I need to not just play with it, but also put it in a pen. I'm not sure if I ever inked this in a pen. I definitely gave away samples of this. Yeah, I think I like how red it is here, but then it starts drying and it's not really, it's not as red as it appears when it's still wet. Oh, this is a freaking long name, Atlas Moth Worm. And I have no idea, besides the Lamy Petrol, and that I would like to have the Nevada in a broader nib so that I can see the color. I don't have any ideas of pens for any of these inks yet. As I said, I'm not ready to let my August pens, which we are in September now, I'm not ready to let those go yet. So what colors am I going to use next? So I have 10, I think I said now, because I pulled out Safari. Maybe I'll just, and that purple is like sticking out like a sore maybe I need to swatch the purple right here, and then all of those 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1. I don't know. We could then also like rule stuff out that doesn't work. I also, in that video where I swatched Pam's samples, I swatched Private Reserve Arabian Rose, and I compared it to Grape Ice Pop, and I was drawn to Grape Ice Pop more than to the Arabian Rose. That's why it's out. That's how this whole thing started, when I was like, oh my gosh, this fire opal, but will it work with the others? And it's so close to Nevada, but actually it's not. So I'm not concerned about that at all anymore. But yeah, that's how this started. I was like, okay, and what else could I combine with this? Then I pulled all of them out, and then I was, so now what am I going to do with those? And that's how this whole video idea started. I could just swatch them because I want to. Oh, this is a Lidl wet. Grape Ice Pop. It's definitely something, swatching is what I'm talking about right now, is something that I can do, as I said, at the end of the day, when I'm already done with my day, and I would still play a little, but I don't really know what I want to play with. That feels like the perfect time. Maybe I also need to sit down and do some more of those inky messes. But those, even though they're not really hard, they're so new to me, kind of. Yeah, I'd say calling them new is, I still need to use a lot of brain, because it's not an intuitive process for me just yet. What if I put this green right next to the purple? It's gonna be so purple. Yeah, and then Safari, and then 3. Did I not have 9 before? So if I put this here, then I have this here. For some reason, I might have not counted correctly the time before I said the number, because I thought now we had 10, but there isn't 10. Okay. Oh, well. The inky messes are still require a lot of thinking on my part, because probably because I'm just not a very spontaneous person. I have a hard time letting go. Let's psychoanalyze me here. I probably have a hard time letting go. Oh my God, this is so green. And so if I'm supposed to do some intuitive things, let me show you one that I started working on. Here. Like, if I want to do intuitive things, it's really hard for me to do that. So, and then I never know, is this done? Does it need more? We could put some green on here. And I just, I don't have the techniques, like go-to patterns or stuff that would make this more meditative. Now I'm thinking too much about this. And this is very meditative. I'm just doing the same thing over and over again. But since we're here, I can show you what I've already made. This is when I tried out the paper. This is just swatching inks, and just, I loved doing those big circles. This one that I felt like, Now that I look at it, it's not as bad as I felt when I made it. And then this is the next one. So, but also if I would like develop a set of go-to techniques in that, it could be an amazing way of meditation, end of day, wind down. Not necessarily when making a video about it though, because then I'm talking, but even then probably. Sauvage. This is a super extreme contrast here. These two as well, but also that's what I mean. Like, there's a lot of tension on this paper right now, right? Or at least that's what I feel. And even though it, at first glance, when I put down the green, it's like, oh my gosh, like, ugh, that is green, man. It doesn't look out of place in that color setting yet. Let's see what else happens. And then Safari again. Putting together color palettes would also give my inks. I mean, not that I'm using a ton of ink. I guess I need to clean my desk because too much cat hair on here. I love that too. Like, oh my God, this color is one of my favorite colors of the. So good, so good, so good, so good. Diamond Safari. I'm swatching all of these. So up here, I only have 3 left. Then the bottom of this is empty. Maybe I need to write a teeny tiny mini evaluation of this palette. Is this feasible? I think it's feasible. I'm not certain about that green. But also, if I'm not using that green, maybe I need to ink it up and see how I like using it in the pen. But if I'm not using it in the pen, then maybe I need to let it go. It just doesn't seem to fit with the stuff that I like, right? But I really wanted a darker, like another step. Oh, well, let me grab this one. This is 2024 pen show exclusive, but this is super dark. But I could swatch this down here, and then I can assess whether I would want this or not and substitute. I guess that's why I left that room. Lamy Petrol. It's 2024 exclusive. And it was, I don't even know if I put it in a pen. Did I put it in a pen yet? Not sure. Yeah, it's super dark. But also really nice. And it's super wet. So I felt like if I wanted to see the base color, I needed in a pen that doesn't put down so much ink that you can't see the color, like here. Yeah, I like this. Definitely do. And then I need to put this in a dry pen, and then this one is Colorverse San Francisco Bay. I need to put that in a wet pen because when I used it last year, I was kind of disappointed. I did not enjoy it in the pen I had it in, and that then discouraged me completely to put it in any other pen, and I haven't had it in a pen since, I believe. Oh, okay. I'm not sure I can swatch this. I have been actually... I used to be the person in my family. Still. It's like I still am. Even my sons, who are like those buff teenagers with muscles and strength, grip strength. I'm the only person in my family, even when I was a child, who was able to open any type of lid from a glass. And I would be able to do that and nobody else. And it's funny, it's like, okay, nobody got it. And then my mom sometimes tried to use tools, didn't get it. And I'm like, okay, can I try? And I'll flip open. But now I'm noticing, maybe it's age. Maybe I'm just like old now. I'm noticing that I'm actually losing some of that strength. Colorverse. I need to train my bottle opening skills. Colorverse. R-S-E. Yeah, it is definitely, it feels watery. Or it's just not the color that I expect it to be. But do you see what I mean? It needs to be in a pen that lays down enough ink. Because if it doesn't, it's like super skimpy. Or I just have a bottle that doesn't have enough pigment in it. Can that even happen? But it just feels like other people's experiences don't match up with mine. So, okay. And then the last ink that I had in this original lineup right here, that's also a reason, maybe if I have a teal, dark blue, turquoise, something in this lineup, I'm okay with having a lighter one because I don't have the expectation of this ink to be as dark as this one. That's my thought process, why I was like, maybe it's not a bad idea to have these very similar colors, at least in the swatch, in this lineup, because then my expectation for a turquoise teal don't get disappointed. Okay, I have to sneeze. Give me 1 second. Yeah, okay, I'm back. I'm also noticing or learning I'm not really veering out of that usual color palette. Like, it's always the same old. Like, we will, when I do this more often, I'm sure it's, oh my goodness, this is Konpeki in wet pen form. But I like this. These kind of look like primary colors. This one not that much, but almost. Yeah, I can see this. I like this. Now I can't even write here. Oh my God, is this such a wet ink? The wet pen. I thought it was called Mount Rainier Blue. And then let's compare this one. This is another pen show ink that I was kind of a little bit disappointed in. But these, there's nothing to grip and hold on to. Maybe that's the reason why it's so hard to open them. Okay, so I was disappointed a little by this because it's so dark. Similar to this one, actually. Like, there is this muddy darkness, but when it's in a pen, I don't really see that. I need to pull out my ink journal from last year so you can see what I'm talking about. Sailor 2024. What is the pen show ink exclusive? What is the 2025 exclusive? Does anyone know? Has anyone seen it? Maybe I've seen it in a video and I just don't remember. I mean, this would work. It's similar to this. This looks like a darker version of that. But also, I feel I should try. This is just an alternative that I could use if this one doesn't work out, but I'm going to put it in a pen. That's kind of how it feels to me. So this pen is already inked up. I have an idea for this pen. I would like to put it in my Waterman Karen in fine. This one, I was thinking of putting it in my Pelikan M800 with a medium nib. But I'm not sure that I should do that because I feel like this is a dry ink and I have some problems with my M800 medium nib. It feels like it has baby's bottom. So maybe I should put this one in there. But I don't want to talk pens right now because I'm not even sure that... I'm just going to call it color palette number 1. And the more I make, the more numbers there are. Number. Yeah. So let me grab that book so I can show you my writing with these in fountain pens. So here is the San Francisco Pen Show. This is Cosmo Air Light paper. This is Sanzen Tomoe River paper. So they might look a little different. Okay, I put this ink in a Reverse Architect Platinum 3776. So that doesn't really help make a case for it. And then I put this Pen Show exclusive ink that, yeah, I don't know what I'm expecting, but it's like very light blue Vanyar in a medium Jovo nib. However, I feel like now that I look at this, I wonder why I felt so disappointed by this ink, because it does look really nice. And it looks very soft. Let's see if it's still inked. Nevada, I'm getting rid of this one. So here, yeah, I think I was just expecting a darker color. And then is the, here is the Platinum 377. I think the problem with this one was just that the nib was too fine. So maybe I also need to give this another chance. If I'm not inking this up in the next rotation, whenever this is becoming a possibility, then maybe I need to put this into my next ink rotation, or I can build a color palette around this color. Yeah, that's something that I could do. Here. I'm not sure what I was thinking, because now that I'm looking at it, I'm like, oh, I like this. Oh, wahoo. It's also nice. I'm not sure. That's so weird. I'm glad I'm able to revisit this, because now my perspective on both of these inks, I felt very the feelings that I had put into my mind are negative towards both of these inks. And now that I'm looking at them in the journal, I'm like, hell, I actually like this. I'm not sure what my problem was with these. So yeah, I'm excited. I like how these, yeah, see, these two look really nice. I love that this is a softer, this is bold, this is soft. So, do we have something so that we can cover up the green? This is definitely more harmonious in general, even though this is kind of sticking out. Oh my gosh, look at this red sheen here. I wonder if it doesn't look like it's a totally sheening ink. There's only some red halo around this. Maybe you can see that. Yeah. Oopsie. It would work. It's kind of... So do I want extreme tension? Sometimes I think of this like... I'm sorry, I'm going off on a tangent right now. But... and I don't even know the English words. Maybe I shouldn't talk about it. But in music, you have the... Do, 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 do. That's Dreiklang. It's dominante tonica, something. Like you create tension, and then you resolve it again. And this one feels like there is no resolving. And if you put this, there can be tension, but then you resolve it. But this feels like it's out of place. Dominante, subdominante, tonica. Tunica, tonica. I'm like, what the hell? I mean, if you're German, maybe you remember this? Maybe the last was dominante, subdominante und and it's called Dreiklang. And all of the songs, all of those harmonious songs are based on that thing. And I had to play it on the piano. Okay, so it's late. I need to go to bed. I love doing this. I don't really know do I store these separately? No, I'm just gonna put them back and then pull them out when I ink pens. Most likely, once I'm done with my inky rotation here from August, when I'm done with this, I will come back in a snippets from my desk video and I can pick pens, because that's also a lot of fun most of the time. So if you want to watch that, don't forget to subscribe to my channel and like this video. I will hopefully see you again soon. Until then, bye.